Let's see, go live. All right, what's up? What's up? Billy Carson here, aka 4biddenknowledge. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday evening. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time. Time to go live. What I want to do real quick is I want to drop a link to everyone that requested to get notifications about me going live. They text me #live. And so I just want to drop that link to them real quick and let them know that we are live. It's going to take one quick second while we let the chat room fill up. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal week. I can't believe it's already Thursday. The premiere of the Black Knight satellite was Sunday. I can't believe that many days have actually gone by that quick. Amazing how we're already on Thursday. Incredible. It seems like it was just last night. I'm texting these people right now that I'm live on YouTube. Live, Q&A. Right now. All right. Let everybody know that I'm on here so everyone can have a chance to chime in. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Intergalactical SAR says, much love from Paris. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. I know some people on here have seen the Black Knight. Let me know what you think. Neek says the Black Knight satellite was awesome. Quality, phenomenal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys got to check it out. Okay. Thank you, Terry Jones. Appreciate that. What's up, Karen Armstrong? Nigel Walton says documentary was fire. All right. I love the fireballs. All right. Thank you. Guys, you got to go to Forbidden Knowledge TV. Get the app on your app store, Forbidden Knowledge TV app with the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge TV, or go to 4bk.tv and make sure you get your free 3-day trial. Watch the Black Knight satellite documentary. It's on fire right now. The thing is like the number one thing being talked about. A lot of great reviews from everyone. It's going to be incredible. This is funny. Hermetic Kermit. What's up, Billy? Good to see you. Oh, won't he do it? Hey, man, that's too funny. Thank you. Nick said the Black Knight was awesome quality, phenomenal. Who else we got in here? What's up, Elaine 888? Samuel Jackson, what's happening? All right, let's see here. I remember I seen somebody right off the bat had asked a question that I want to be able to answer. So I'm going to go to that one first. And then I'm going to start a quick shameless plug session. And then we're going to get into it even deeper. All right. What's up, Baton Rouge? Okay. Love you too, Caesar. What's up, Joshua? All right. Seems like I'm trying to find one. Somebody had asked about the Archons. I want to bring that question up. What's up, Curious Energy? You're here now. I want to bring up this question that I just saw about the Archons. We're going to do Q&A tonight. All right, Q&A. Boy, so many chats filling up like crazy. I'm trying to get to it. Man, it's already, who knows where it's at now. Because I want to bring whoever asked a question, I want to bring it up on the screen. So just give me 1 second, guys. Let me get to this. What's up? Wichita, Kansas in the house. All right, let's see. Whoever asked me that question about the Archons, just ask it one more time. There's somebody coming in here all at once. Okay. Thank you, James Scober. Appreciate it. Trying to get this work done. Just out here working, trying to make it happen for everybody. Cortez McWilson, what's happening? Okay, well, I can't find that Archon question, but I'll start off with this one right here. Boy, these things are moving. Okay. Christina Chambers. All right. Move this chair in a little bit so I can get closer to the mic. Christina Chambers says, can you tell us what you know about the Draconians? Okay. So the Draconians, it's an interesting topic because they come from the star named Draco. That's a real star. Okay. It's a real star in the sky. If you look up Draco, you'll find out that it's a real star system. And what you'll find out, what's interesting, is the alignment with the Great Pyramid. I'm trying to pull it up now, see if I can find a good image for you guys. If not, we'll just go on it. There's an alignment with the Great Pyramid and Draco. And so one of the shafts on the Great Pyramid, depending on its precession of the equinox, there's an alignment with one of those shafts from the Great Pyramid with Draco. Pretty interesting that that happens. So actually, I think I might have found this image. Let me save this image and see if I can pull it up. DRACO. Cool. So this alignment is pretty interesting, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. All right, so let me open this image. That's a small image. How can I make it bigger? Okay, there we go. And let me share my screen. All right, let's see. Can I move this up? This thing is tripping. This image is acting crazy. Let me find a different image real quick, because I really want to talk about this. It's a really important topic. That was a bitmap image. Let me open up more of a JPEG. JPEG would be much better. Let's see if this one's it here. So the star alignment is very interesting, and I want to really take a quick minute and go into why, because I don't really want to brush over it too fast. It's a good question. Okay, here's the image. Let me save it. All right. Now I can go ahead and share my screen. Okay, here we go. I know it's a little bit blurry, but this is a real alignment chart here of the Great Pyramid. So the Great Pyramid has these shafts that come out from the sides and shoot out towards different stars on different alignments. So you see it hits Sirius, it hits Orion, it hits Ursa Minor, Ursa Major. It also hits where? Draco, the Draco area of that constellation. Now, what's interesting about this Great Pyramid is that the Queen's Chamber, which is much down and lower in this area over here than the King's Chamber, which is up here. The Queen's Chamber is closer to the base and also closer to where something miraculous used to happen. So when the Nile River was closer to the pyramids, it used to run underneath the aquifer underneath the Great Pyramid and create something called physiostatic electricity. So as the running water would move underneath the Great Pyramid from the Nile, that moving water against crystal granite would create physiostatic electricity, and positive ions would rise up into the base of the pyramid. Now, along with that, there was a shaft that allowed water to come in. And as the water would move, it would come in and pour down into the Queen's Chamber area. What was the Queen's Chamber? The Queen's Chamber was a hydrogen extractor. It was through a process of electrolysis, it would extract hydrogen atoms, and then it would shoot them up through those shafts. Then the physiostatic electricity would rise up through the grand gallery and hit the resonating rods on the way up to be stepped up. And then once it got into the King's Chamber, it would be boosted and shot through the apex, creating wireless electricity. But the area where the Queen's Chamber is in the bottom, it literally would be able to extract hydrogen atoms. Now, what's important about that? Right now, today, we try to communicate with aliens in space. And what frequency do scientists and astrophysicists use to try to communicate and send signals into space to see if anybody's listening? We send it on the frequency of hydrogen because they believe that that's the most widely used frequency by an advanced technological race of beings somewhere in the universe. And it's like one of the most widely known particles. So what they said was molecules. I'm sorry. So what they said was, okay, element. Let's use it. Let's go ahead and broadcast on hydrogen frequency. So they started doing that, and they felt like this was the proper one to do because they felt like any race could easily decipher any message that we encode on this. So if you look at the telescope arrays or the dish arrays that we use, there's dozens of dishes lined up, these giant dishes aimed and pointed at space in different star systems, and they move depending on the movement of the planet Earth in accordance with the stars that they want to send frequencies to. And then they transmit these waves of frequencies on the hydrogen frequency out. Well, the Great Pyramid is doing the same thing. Imagine the Great Pyramid is a giant dish. Those shafts represent what the dish would be. It's sending out signals into space pointed at star systems the same way we're doing right now today, okay? And it's sending it on the same frequency we send today. It's sending it on the hydrogen frequency. So what these shafts are doing, they're sending messages to Sirius, Orion, Draco, and Ursa Minor, Ursa Major. They're actually sending information. They're actually sending communications to these star systems. So what that tells us is somewhere deep in the past that people came here from Draco. Now, we know that according to a lot of the ancient texts, the Naturu came to this planet, but they came from different star systems. They all didn't come from the same place. They all came from different places, and which means that these people were a multiracial, multi-planetary species or race of people that came to this planet over a period of time. Some came from Draco, some came from Orion, some came from Sirius, and the majority of them all originated prior to that, millions of years before, out of the Pleiadian star system, where there was a great war. So Draco and Draconians have been here. If you look at the Ubaid culture in Iraq, we found all of the statuettes of these people. They all look like reptilian people. Even there's a reptilian woman breastfeeding a reptilian baby. They found dozens and dozens of them. They even knew that they had a monarchical type society where they had rulers, and the ruler would be depicted with a staff and different clothing on, but they all were reptilian with scales on their skin. Pretty interesting stuff. All based out of ancient Iraq, which is really ancient Mesopotamia. Interesting stuff. They were here before the Anunnaki, the people that we do know called the Anunnaki, arrived. Now, all of them are, anybody who comes from heaven to earth is an Anunnaki. It's a generalized term. Just like if I went from Earth to Mars, I'm going to call myself an Earthling. I'm not going to say I'm a Floridian, right? So, but these people were Atlanteans. They created an Atlantean civilization, even though they were all Anunnaki. But the Dracos definitely had a big part in what happened on this planet. And we communicate, well, not we, but the builders of the Great Pyramid sent communications directly to Draco on the hydrogen frequency. All right, let me go back to where I was, because I can talk about that for hours. All right. Let's see here. Pooh Kitten says, are we trapped in this body and on this earth? Great question, Pooh Kitten. A lot of people ask that question. That's a really deep question. There's a lot of ways to go with it. So there's a story about the Anunnaki finding a way to, according to the Emerald Tablets, finding a way to entrap our spirits on this planet and keep us recycling over and over again. So let me tell you that story first before I tell you something else that I think it's, it could be either or. But what they're saying is that because they shortened our lifespan after the Tower of Babel incident and knocked off our lifespan from thousands of years to less than 100 years, pretty much. I mean, 120 max, but now in this day and age, you're lucky to live to 75, right? Everybody's dropping like flies out here. But they found out that if you live long enough, you can gain a certain level of knowledge and wisdom, which would allow you to ascend to a higher level of consciousness. So they significantly shortened our lifespan so that we would never obtain enlightenment. because it takes a long time to obtain that level of enlightenment. And so they figured that by doing that, by shortening the lifespan, they can keep our souls regenerating on this planet over and over again and keeping us entrapped and enslaved on this prison planet by the method of shortening our lifespans. Pretty interesting. It's in some text. It's a pretty interesting theory. If it is real, I can't verify it because I don't know, but I'm just telling you what's in the text. Another way to look at it is this too, from a quantum physicist point of view, from a scientific point of view, you have to realize that if you're in a higher dimension, time doesn't even exist. Past, present, and future happen at the same exact time, all at once. And so from that perspective, looking at somebody die and reincarnate, you don't have to necessarily follow the arrow of time, and you don't necessarily have to even be on the same planet, because energy, once your energy leaves your body, it goes back into the energy field, the energetic field that exists, that we're all plugged into, but we just can't sense it. And then from there, it can literally reappear in the third dimension as anything, anywhere, at any time, in the past, in the present, or in the future. Sometimes people only talk about their past lives as if it was something that happened only on Earth and only in a linear fashion. In other words, the first time I died, it was during the Egyptian era. Then the time before that, when I died, it was, caveman era or whatever. It's always like it's either Egypt, and then it's not specifically Egypt. I'm just giving the time frame. The Egypt time frame when it first started, ancient Egypt, and then next time it's like Renaissance era, and then the next time it's like now. So that's interesting. I'm not doubting those people. What I'm saying is, don't think that those are the only lifetimes you possibly had, because you can actually come back in the future, what we would call in the third dimension, the future. You can come back in the past. And you can come back not only on Earth, but any planet in the entire universe. You can come back not even as a human being. You can even come back, as a blade of grass. You can come back as a rock. You can come back as anything. You can come back as a different gender. Some people tend to believe that they were the same gender every time they incarnate. I don't know if that's possible. I think that you incarnate, but you can come back as a woman, a man. You can come back as any race. A lot of people that committed egregious acts against other human beings will probably come back as the same race that they tortured, which is probably some type of karma that's going to be generated, giving them a little bit of experience. And I don't care how far in the future we are, they can come back in the past and experience that whole thing. So it's pretty interesting. That's just my personal theory. So I think you can come back in any time frame, in any gender, and on any planet. I don't really per se see that this planet is a prison planet and we're completely locked into it. I think that when energy leaves this body, it goes into a higher dimension, and it can come back anywhere at any time, in any place. All right. Let's see what we got here. Thanks for the question. What's up, Newberry, South Carolina? Shada Brooks. Okay. I don't know how to put the chat in slow mode. This is the way to move it slow. All right. Toria Edwards, what about Egypt in 2023? Trip in the works? Question mark. We are getting ready to set up our 2023 tour. As you know, 2022 is sold out. It's sold out twice. We sold out one bus, and then so many people I think we had over 1,000 people contact us. And we were like, okay, we'll turn it back on. So we added a second bus to the tour, and we sold out that bus. So 2022 is completely sold out. But we are looking for a date right now for 2023 to give people even more time to get prepared and get ready for Egypt for the next year. This one's going to be a blockbuster. The next year is going to be a blockbuster event. It's probably going to be around the same time, but we're looking for the exact date, weekends, and the full week to lock it in and all that. Right now, we probably will have an answer on that in about 2 or 3 days, and then we will put ticket sales up and start giving people enough time to get ready for that from now, so that they don't have to feel rushed. And with the current state of the economics and everything else going on in the world, I think it'll help people out a lot if they can have a little bit more time to start paying on it, to pay on it and then make payments on the way. We'll figure that out. We're trying to keep it down to 2 or 3 payments max, but at least we know if they start making a deposit, half down, locked themselves in, and then they got quite a few months before the second payment has to be due, or the third payment, or whatever. So we're working on getting it all set up for you guys so we can have a phenomenal trip in 2023. It's going to be amazing, just like this one in October is going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Toria Edwards. Greenfield, Massachusetts. What's up, Derek Hill? All right. Steve Ravis, what's up? Let's see. Okay. Interesting question. Nice says, are you doing a class on insurance? Yes, I am. Yes, I will. I've done some workshops that included insurance in there before, but I think I'm going to do a workshop just on insurance. I think there's so much to talk about with insurance, and so many things you can do with it, like giving yourself loans and all kind of stuff, and how that exactly works, and the whole process, and in great detail. If you're a contractor, how you can get your money or your check paid to your insurance. I'm going to go, that's a great question. Nice. Let me put a notepad up for this one and make sure I send this over to Elizabeth so she can help me get that set up. Workshop. Insurance. Cool. Got it. Appreciate it. Thanks for the question. What's up, Smootho from Detroit? I was just in Detroit. What up, Doe? I was just in Detroit doing the premiere. All right, let's see. What's up, Oracle Readings? Shari says, first time here. Hey, well, welcome to the family. We appreciate you. Okay. Lawless Light, have you done a special about the Halls of Amenti? I haven't done a special about the Halls of Amenti yet. I've read from the Emerald Tablets from my book a few times, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Now, when we go to Egypt in October, I'm going to be catching more film and more footage at the Halls of Amenti, and then I'm going to do a special on it. That special is probably going to air. So we're going to get more footage on it. We have some now, but we need more. So we're going to get the footage. We're going to go back in October, get more footage of the Halls of Amenti and document it even better. There's some angles that we missed and some important things that we missed while we were there. So we're going to take some time and make sure we get all the correct footage the way we need it. And then, so if we get it in October, you'll probably see something before the year ends, probably November or December. We'll have a Halls of Amenti special that I'll have filmed in Egypt. Okay, so it's going to be amazing. Thank you for all of the chat donations, guys. I appreciate that. As you know, all this goes towards to help underprivileged children. The next time I go to order the book bags or go buy the supplies, or where are we now? So we're getting ready to start school. Yeah, so it's going to be a school supplies. I will make sure that I do what I always do: take a video, show you guys what I'm buying, put it in the shopping cart, and you'll watch me check out like I always do, and post a receipt here on YouTube as well. All right, so I appreciate y'all. Thank you. You're helping out the kids. Let's see. Thank you, Seven Eliani. I think that is. Love your content. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, what's up, Kenya? Thanks. Welcome aboard. All right. Okay. Jesse, love your content. Got any questions about lost civilizations? Well, I mean, ask me a question about lost civilizations. I know all about them. Pretty much everything from Dwarka to ancient Sumeria to Babylonia, Assyria, all of these places. Adam's calendar in South Africa. The thing that's interesting about these lost civilizations, I'm actually going to be doing a huge talk about this and making it into a show. It's the Anunnaki history series that's coming out. So as you know, when I did the Black Knight satellite, I brought on a production team, and I started the Anunnaki history series without the production team because I promised you it was going to come out much earlier. And after I analyzed it, I realized a production team would make it even better. Just like the Black Knight, as you saw, that was top level. That's Netflix level. And I want my show to be just like that. So we are bringing on a full production team, and we're going to do it the right way. Some of it I'll be on site, and some of these ancient civilizations, these lost civilizations, and some of it will be I'll be talking to camera, and there'll be clips, playing behind me. But it's going to be a good mix, and it's going to be high quality. And I'm looking forward to doing an entire series on that. It's going to be called Anunnaki History. All right. Rhonda Woodhouse, I'm an investor in Forbidden Knowledge TV. Thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome to the family. We're looking really good. Like, if you don't know what's going on, guys, with these investors, we were selling shares of Forbidden Knowledge. We had round 1 and round 2, and we are going to NASDAQ. The press releases and everything already came out. We're going to be on NASDAQ. We're shooting for NASDAQ first quarter of 2023. And so everyone who owns shares, those shares roll over into a cap table. The cap table then rolls over into the NASDAQ offering. So congratulations. Oh, here we go. Michael Freeman, here we go. Yes, I know I saw you first. Good evening, sir. I was asking about the Archons. It's really Archons, Arcons, the Archons. So Archons, these are written about in the Nag Hammadi. Okay, and so an Archon is an energy vampire. So the ancient text and the scriptures, it's actually like ancient scriptures. They're written on ancient parchment paper. They were discovered in some caves, and then those caves, took those parchment papers and reread them, converted them into a book. But the Nag Hammadi scripts are very interesting. Also the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so they talk about these Archons, which are really like energy vampires. And so these Archons, they operate slightly out of phase with our reality. They have the capability, according to these texts, to phase shift out of our visible light view. Now, there's 2 types in the Nag Hammadi. One looks like a reptilian, and supposedly the reptilian has the capability of attaching itself to a human being and kind of remote controlling it, according to these scriptures. And then the second one is, it looks like a gray alien, what we would call a gray alien. They didn't say gray alien, but they describe it as having a big oval head with big almond-sized eyes and so forth and so on, spindly arms. It's like describing a gray alien, right? So these are Archons, according to that text, and they have the capability of nudging and manipulating people to create realities that they want, supposedly, according to this text. Pretty interesting stuff. If you analyze what an energy vampire is, I believe we're surrounded by Archons every single day, because people are always trying to zap your energy or take your energy, right? They want to rob you of your energy. They want to get stuff out of you, Like when people contact me and tell me, hey, man, all your TV shows should be free. That's an energy vampire. They want to steal my energy. They don't think that I'm, the Black Knight satellite is a $250,000 production. They think I'm supposed to spend $250,000 so that they can watch the Black Knight satellite for free. And all the people that were involved, they don't deserve to get any money. They don't deserve to eat. They don't deserve to pay for their bills and their kids. I don't deserve to be able to pay for my internet so I could talk to you guys tonight and buy a microphone to talk to you guys in. Those people are energy vampires. They want to steal all your energy and give you nothing back in return. So in my opinion, Archons are all around us. All right, let's see what we got here. See what else we got. Questions. Yeah, they don't understand business. You got that right. For real. Thank you, Sandra Bologna. Appreciate that. Here's a good question. Eva Anika, thanks for your work, Billy. Should we fear reptilians? Are they dangerous or just ugly? Good question. Well, it's a great question. Do I think that reptilians are real, just based off of what I've seen historically and what I've read? These ancient people were really good at describing cows and sheep. They were able to describe, horses, and they knew what snakes were, and they knew, what people look like. So when they start describing all those things very crisp and clear and drawing them very crisp and clear, and then all of a sudden they start talking about something that looks like a reptile or a humanoid reptilian, you got to pay attention, because they understand what things look like, and they clearly know how to depict them and draw them and etch them in the stone and everything else. And then all of a sudden, here comes this weird looking thing. So in some way, I believe that there's some truth to it. The Draconians are supposedly these people. Could they be here pulling strings behind the scenes? pulling the strings of all the elites on this planet? Could they have a deal with these people and have them doing all this, committing all these egregious acts against humanity? And to what cause? I don't know. But it's really hard to say. It's a tough question to answer. I mean, if they're real, which I believe they are real, how much influence do they have on us right now? And the true reality of it is, I don't think there's that many of them if they are real. And so because there's 8 billion people, I think there's 8.5 billion people on Earth now, 8.5 billion. Probably safe to say about 7 billion are adults, right? Young adults to old age. And there's probably only 100 families running this world. 100 families running 8.5 billion people, telling us what to smell, eat, drink, touch, hear, say, speak, what we can, what we can't do, where we can go, where we can't go, what Jabberwowski we got to get, what Jabberwowski we got to take now for the next big thing coming, right? These people control everything. Could these be the reptilian people? It's possible. But we shouldn't be afraid of them. You know why? There's 8.5 billion of us and only probably less than 500 of them. At some point, we got to say, you know what? I'm going to draw a line in the sand. We're going to stand up for ourselves. We're going to take back control of this planet. And we're going to stop letting these elite oligarchs control and destroy our lives and destroy this planet that we live on. We got 20,000 nuclear weapons on this planet, and they're all pointed back at ourselves. They're not even pointed into space to protect us from something out there. They're pointed at our own selves. And guess what? They're pointed at us to be launched at ourselves, to kill ourselves. And nobody on the planet has an escape hatch or escape pod or some kind of escape rocket to get the hell out of here. We're all just going to blow up together. So I think we need to be afraid of ourselves, and we need to realize that we're the real true threat. And I think that the reptilians are a minority, and we are the majority. We, the people of the planet, are the majority. And at some point, we got to take control of this planet. We got to stop playing games. And I don't mean violently. All we have to do to take back control of this planet is stop playing their game. Stop participating. Can you imagine if a billion people woke up tomorrow and said, you know what? We're not going to go to work. We're not going to pay mortgage. We're not going to pay car payment. We're not paying any loans. We're not paying student loans. We're not buying any gas. We already stocked up. We're good. We're going to sit back for a couple of months and let all the economies crash at the same time. And then while they're at their weakest point, we say, okay, we're ready. We, the people, are ready to negotiate our deal. You see how easy it is? There's no need for war. We're not going to go to war with these people. We're not going to have a fight. We're not going to be rioting and picketing in the street. We're going to sit down and be quiet. And we're going to stop paying taxes, stop paying everything. And then when they say, you know what, man, we're on our knees now. We're begging you, please, we got to do something. Well, we'll negotiate now. First and foremost, we're going to reestablish a whole new government. The whole system globally, it's going to be completely different, especially in America. Congressmen and senators, they're not going to be able to sit in there for 70 years until they drop dead. No, you get 2 years and you're gone. We want fresh people in there all the time. You know, there's no way that you can replace a president in 4 years, but somebody can sit in that office over there who really make the real laws for 60 years and 70 years and all kind of crazy stuff. And people got to get the hell out of there. So we got to reconfigure this entire system. We got to take capitalism out of healthcare, take capitalism out of prison systems, take capitalism out of policing, take capitalism out of medicines and all this other stuff, take capitalism out of school systems. It's got to be gone. Capitalism cannot be involved in everything. You have to have a combination economic system. You can't have a system driven purely by capitalism or everyone will be taken advantage of, period. You got to take away you take capitalism out of healthcare, people are going to get healed. People are going to get the right treatment. People are going to get cured of diseases and everything else. As long as capitalism is involved, there's never going to be a cure for cancer. Think of how many quadrillions of dollars been raised for cancer since I was a tiny kid till now, and not one cure for cancer. You think that's an accident? No, that's by accident on purpose. There's more money in treatment than the cure. So I don't think we got to really worry about the reptilians too much. They may be there. I think we got to really take control of this planet, and we got to stop fighting each other. We got to end racism, all this race war, divide and conquer. You know, us against them and them against us, and we was first, no, we was first, and all this other kind of crazy stuff. We got to end all that foolishness, man. At some point, it's got to end, or we're going to be stuck in the same little rat race we're in right now. But great question. Thank you so much. All right, let's see here. What we got down here? Some more questions coming in. All right. Good question here. Tino Miles. How is it that we can incarnate? We don't remember our pre-existence. Do these other beings, Anunnaki, exist in this spirit realm and then incarnate as well? Good questions right there. So, first and foremost, with the first part of the question is, how come we don't remember? Some people actually do have memories and some don't. Majority of people have no memory whatsoever. We don't have a long lifespan. It's a very short lifespan. And in the Animal Tablets of Thoth, he talks about understanding how to obtain those higher level of consciousness so that you can learn to incarnate at will. Matter of fact, he says he incarnates on and in the plane that he desires. That means he incarnates at will and even incarnates into different dimensions if he wants to. And I believe that we have the same capability. And it's all about understanding, like the part that we're all on this video. We are all, everyone listening right now and listening to this video is here for a reason. You're focusing on ascension. Whether you thought about it or not, your mind wants, your consciousness wants to learn about ascension. It wants to get wisdom so it can bypass all of these loopholes and downfalls of humanity. And so through the method of practicing, training, meditation, studying, you heard that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We are both the student and then we become the teacher. And when the teacher is ready, the master will appear. When you become the master, then you understand how to transcend multiple dimensions through consciousness. You understand how to incarnate with full memory. And so it's a process. You have to remember that some people on earth are newborns. Your mother could be 40, 50, 60 years old, and she could be a newborn on this planet. It could be her first time here. And you could be 20 years old and be ancient. This could be your 1,000th time here. You could be 2,000 times here, right? So age doesn't matter in the multi-dimension. Somebody could have been here hundreds of times and be an ancient person, and somebody could be here. I think that a lot of the people that are really caught up in heavy into religion and heavy into politics and heavy into racism, those people are babies. I don't even get really mad at them, to be honest with you. I mean, I get appalled and I get frustrated, yes. But at the same time, I see them as babies. I see them as children. I understand that those are children. They just got here. They just entered this reality, most likely for the first or second time. They have a lot more times to go before they fully understand and wake up to who they truly really are. So it's a process to gaining the knowledge and wisdom to be able to remember any of your previous existences. And then do the Anunnaki beings exist in the spirit realm and incarnate? Yes, to both of those. So according to the Emerald Tablets and the Sumerian Tablets, they have the capabilities of existing and reincarnating. So they have the halls of Amenti, where they have bodies that they've cloned, not clones of humans, but their own cloned bodies that they create. And then they, like Avatar, the movie, they transfer their consciousness from body to body. So in that format, they actually incarnate at will. They control their incarnations. They bypass the whole process of just dying and waiting to come back. They control when they come back now. And one of the Emerald Tablets, it says that they took on bodies to walk amongst men, but unlike men. So they're walking amongst us now, and you would think that they're a person that you would see as a human being, but sometimes the person you're walking next to on the street or sitting next to in a movie theater is actually not a human being, but it's something else. Pretty interesting. Good question. All right, what we got here? Let's see. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for the donations. They came in so fast, I didn't get a chance to name everyone here. I don't know if I can. Jose, Molly, Shonda. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. There was a few more there. Exceptional Life says, this is either punishment or redemption. We all have a reason to be here at this time, at this moment. You're correct, Exceptional Life. That's 1,000% correct. That's either redemption, or punishment. Punishment meaning karma. There's negative karma and there's positive karma. Sometimes you come back to pay karmic debt. But during the payment of the karmic debt, you actually have an opportunity for redemption. When you come to a place in your life where a couple things happen, when you realize that Every moment that you exist in this realm and even everything that you're going through is an opportunity for learning. So you take the L as a learning, but not an L as a loss. That's when you start to begin to go to the next level. When you start to see the good in everything, whether it's a bad situation, a horrible situation, you try to figure out not that the situation was good, but what good can come out of this? What changes could come out of this? What can change in you that can come out of this, and per se. And also, when you begin to act on those things and actually bring them to fruition, it's also another part. And then also, how many acts of service can you commit? How many times can you help people? What things can you do to help people? How can you be of service to others and help someone else with whatever? It can be something small, but how many times can you pay it forward and give help to others when you realize, wow, I'm here to also serve, not just to take. Okay. So all that comes into it. And then the next big part of it is when you begin to understand that the voice that you hear in your head, that people make it this deep, godly voice of some exterior God. But when that voice begins to morph and change, and the next thing you know, that voice is actually your own voice. That's when you've reached another level. When you realize that the voice that you hear in your head is not coming from out there, it's your voice inside of your own head talking to you, and it has been talking to you this whole time. People say, man, God told me this. No, God didn't tell you anything. You told yourself that. Guess what? Because you are an extension of God. And it's your own voice talking to you. You're talking to yourself from a higher dimension right here in this avatar body. So it's all part of that process. All right. Let's see here. Okay, I'm looking here. There's so many questions. Whew, this thing is moving fast. Wow. Your consciousness is alive. Yes, it is. Omniscience. That's right. Let's see here. Okay. The God Black. Peace, Billy. Question: how can I be a better observer in meditation? Good question. Now, in meditation, there's a few different types of meditations. One of them, if you're in a 528 hertz meditation or a 432 hertz meditation, I have some tracks on Spotify, on Apple Music that are in 528 and 432. If you don't see the number 432 in front of it, doesn't mean anything. All my songs are in 432 unless it says 528. But some specify 432, just a meditation track specifically. It's actually a meditation soundtrack I have on Spotify. You can check that out by Forbidden Knowledge. But either or, you can get them on anybody from anyone on YouTube. But those frequencies, 528, 432, are really, really good. But another really good one for getting into a really super deep awareness in a meditation is the Om, the primordial Om. And so there's an Om meditation. I actually have one. It's called 111 Ohms. It's called 111 Ohms in 432. Look it up. It's by Forbidden Knowledge. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. It's on everything. You can find it on YouTube for free. Well, play it on YouTube. But that 111 ohms. Now, the reason why it's so important, the Om is the primordial sound. And it's the sound where, even in the biblical text, in the beginning was the Word. That word was God. Well, what it really saying is in the beginning was the word and the word was sound. That frequency is the God frequency, according to the ancient Tibetans. That Om is actually, it represents a complete ideology of creation. And this being in synchronicity with that Om throughout a meditation is said to connect you directly to the Creator itself. And so I think that gives you the ability to gain observation, to gain awareness in the meditation. When I'm on long trips, like I made that song really for myself, to be honest with you. I go to Cambodia, 38 hours. I fly to the Indian Ocean, 32 hours. Or Egypt, 25 hours, 27 hours sometimes, depending on layovers. When I'm on the plane, I got a good solid, one plane could be 14 hours straight ride, right? I play the Om and put it on repeat. And the longest one I've done now is 6 hours. I've gone to a 6-hour meditation on a plane. The only reason why I came out of it, she broke my record, was the stewardess tapped me on my shoulder. If she wouldn't have done that, I don't know how long I would have been able to go. But that was the most aware meditation I had. And it was in the Om state in 432 hertz. And it was amazing. So I would recommend doing that. quiet your mind, envision a bowl in your mind with all your thoughts in it. You see your thoughts in the bowl, and then envision a hand taking those thoughts out of the bowl a little by a little, just taking the thoughts out until there's almost no thoughts left. You'll find that there'll still be something a little tiny bit left in the bottom of that bowl because it's almost impossible to get everything out. But that's okay. That's really a quiet mind. And then when you get into that own meditation, it fills up with the universal consciousness, and it makes you aware of everything. You connect the planets, you connect the stars, you connect the sacred geometry. It's an amazing type of meditation to get into. And when you're into it for a long period of time, 35, 40 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, you start to see things, and you start to experience things, and you start to become aware of a lot of things. So it's pretty powerful stuff. Thanks again. Whoa, this thing's moving fast. Oh, man, I saw one. Shoot. Okay. Man. There's one here. Just listen and hear me out. Can you please tell me if the blacks are the original gods? Okay. That's a good question, because I think this question really needs to be addressed. Now, I did a video a couple of weeks ago about the black pharaohs. I started out to part one. Part one I spent on one small family, which was King Tut's family. King Tut, his father Akhenaten, his stepmother Nefertiti, his grandmother Queen Taye, his grandfather Amenhotep III, all right? And his sisters, who all had these gigantic heads, but they were black people with these weird shaped heads and strange bodies. And I went over the whole thing a couple of weeks ago. So that YouTube video is on this account. Now, there's two levels of calling somebody a god. One level is, like, for example, the ancient Egyptians said that the Nitiru came to earth and turned mud into a kingdom, and they called them gods. These people who came here and started working after the Great Flood to help rebuild Kem into a great nation again, a scientific, technological nation again. And if you look at the text, it clearly tells you who the people was. Even in the Sumerian tablets, it says that people had black faces. So if you want to look at these beings being called gods, and they really were just flesh and blood people that just had advanced technology and advanced wisdom. The other way of looking at it is the creation of the universe. The creator itself, the entity or entities that have created this entire realm that we're operating and living in, is what we would consider God. And according to basic, understanding of what creator is. I don't think that the God has a race, a gender. A lot of people like to call God he. I don't think that God is a he at all. I don't think you can't attribute a gender to a God, because God is going to have feminine and masculine energy. And God is really, in my opinion, a frequency. And based on my research, I come to find out that God is actually the flower of life. So when you look at the flower of life symbol, you're looking at the face of God itself. The creation and the creator operate within that flower of life, which exists at every Planck unit in space-time throughout the entire universe. And where the circles connect, it's called the Vesica Pisces. It's a womb of creation, and all life comes through a womb. And through those wombs of creation, life emanates into the third dimension, according to science that actually tested this out. One scientist took a flask, he sterilized it, vacuumed it, sealed it, came back. There should have been nothing in that flask. When he opened it up and looked at it under electron microscope, there were actually microscopic life forms fully formed in there. Why? Because they came through the Vesica Pisces. So to answer your question, the gods that came to this planet in ancient times and started working in the land of Kem, according to the records, they were actually multiracial. Some of them were actually what we would consider to be African or black people. But there were people who came to this planet with all different races, and they went around this entire planet and genetically marked their humans to look like them. Let us make man in our image. So we had a multiracial species we're operating on this planet, even though we did have things kickstarting off in the land of Kem and in Mesopotamia, ancient Iraq. And on the bigger picture, the creator itself, or the creators, because it could be more than one, we don't know. We don't even know that answer. That created this holographic light matrix that we're living in. In my opinion, there is no gender whatsoever. There's no race. That the entity itself is the flower of life, because in the flower of life, you have something called the 64 grid tetrahedron. And housed in that 64 grid tetrahedron, you have something called the you have the vector equilibrium in quantum physics. And the vector equilibrium is the area where 0 point energy exists. And so at every point in space-time, an unlimited amount of energy actually exists at every point. And that energy is emanating from the creator itself into this dimension. So it's pretty interesting. Great question. All right, let's see what we got here. Dodecahedron, Steve Ravis, that's correct. Dodecahedron most likely is the shape of this entire universe, is being projected from an 8th-dimensional quasi-crystal into a 4-dimensional cube, and then from there, the shadow creates a dodecahedron, which is projecting the light matrix that we're living in. Okay. Oh, would that mean we are demigods, the juniors? That's a good question. Yes, we are. I'm glad you asked that question. Yes, we are. We are all demigods. We are God walking in the flesh. Well, we have a combination of biological material from the 3rd dimension, but the spirit consciousness that we're operating on, it comes from a higher source. Our mind does not create consciousness. It downloads consciousness. And so we are receiving a consistent stream of consciousness into this avatar body and animating it. And so by that method, we are part mortal and part divine. So we are a demigod. Every single person walking on this planet. Latanya Akers, is the flower of life conscious? Yes, it is. It is conscious because it has a capability of creating life. Literally, it literally emanates life. And all the energy that exists throughout the entire universe is emanating from this. The areas where they say there's dark energy or dark matter creating expansion of the universe, that's all coming out of the flower of life. All right, let's see here. There's so much stuff. A lot of great responses in here. Ooh, I just saw one. I think y'all. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Benjamin. Will you create a book comparing ancient texts to the Bible? I actually pretty much did that. It's called the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. It's a bestseller. And in there, I compared the Bible text to ancient text. Now, I could go a little bit deeper because primarily a lot of that is the New Testament. I could go a little bit deeper and I can do a part 2, a volume 2, and I can do all the books that make up the Old Testament. So I could do something like that and break those down as well. Maybe that's something I'll look to in the future. Great question, Benjamin. Luna Ray, the gorgeous oracle. Can you explain the purpose of the Ankh and what it symbolizes? Good question. Now, the Ankh symbolizes several things. So the Ankh symbolizes life. It's the key of life. It symbolizes the womb in a woman's womb. Okay, because if you look at the Ankh as a womb, you can see the uterus, you can see the ovaries, and you can see the birth canal. But it also has a much deeper meaning. If you look into the ancient texts, the super ancient, not the Egyptian text, but the super ancient cuneiform tablets by the Sumerians, you discover that they had something called a Doron Key. Now, this Doron Key means earth. It was this doorway on earth that would lead you to another place. It was a portal. Now, this portal was incredible because this portal, you had to walk through it only if you had a Ankh with a Jed inside. So you had to have the Ankh and a Jed pillar inside the Ankh. It's called a Jed pillar Ankh. Let me see if I can find a picture of one for you real quick, because this is a very good question. The Jed is a DJED pillar Ankh. Now the Jed itself is a condenser, and it oscillates at specific frequencies. Okay. I found one. Now let me save this image and show it to you guys here. I can leave it just like this, probably. Let me see. I can save it. I want to show you this because this is important. It's a great question. Let me open it up and open up my. Okay. Let me share my screen now. Okay, this is the Jet Pillar Ankh. So you see the jet in the middle. That jet is technology. When you go to Egypt with me, whoever goes with me in October, I'm going to take you underneath an underground crypt at the Temple of Dendera, out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to show you incredible carvings of jets connected to light bulbs, lighting up light bulbs underneath these underground crypts, showing that they had the capability of wireless electricity and light bulb technology. It's amazing. Now, this jet oscillates at a specific frequency. And so what they would do is they would give it to the super elite of elites. Only those people were the only ones to walk through the gate. So these stargates, according to the tablets, if a normal person walked into the gate without a jet pillar that matched their frequency and was coded into the gate, they would be disintegrated. So when you have this jet pillar Ankh, the ultimate use of this was that it would oscillate at your specific atomic frequency, and they would take that frequency and program it into the Stargate or the portal, which would allow you to walk from your planet to another planet directly. All right, so they said in the text, it says I could walk from Earth to Nibiru directly to arrive, is how they say it. They talk like Yoda, or maybe Yoda talks like them because they probably copied this speech dialect from the tablets. But anyway, from Earth to Nibiru directly to arrive. It's called the Doron Key, and you had to have a Jet Pillar Ankh to walk through it. So that was a good question. So the ultimate use of it is a key to a portal, and other than that, it would be represented as life, and a key of life. So it's pretty interesting. Baptism, they had the original baptism. You'll see the original baptism scene in Egypt when we go with the Ankh. It's a spiritual baptism. Pretty interesting stuff. Okay, Father Sky, I want you to talk about AI during the Sumerian age, which ties into the Black Knight satellite. There's a lot of AI in the ancient text. So they actually had in the Sumerian tablets, Ninma, one of the sisters of Enki and Enlil, half sister, is given. She's a medical officer. She's over the medical team, supposedly. Now they have these me's, or these things called me's, that have this technology inside of them that have DNA and medicines and genetics and all kind of stuff inside of these cases. You've probably seen them depicted in a lot of these ancient Sumerian carvings. They're all holding these bags called me's, and they have something called crystal tablets in them. And then also they had this medical center that they built. Now, in this medical center, they actually fashioned some of the workers or the nurse assistants. There's some weird stuff going on. They actually made some people. These people weren't like the humans. They weren't genetically modified humans. These were people that they literally made, but they weren't real people because they talk about at some point multiplying them, but then they come to realize that multiplying them could be at the end of them, because then they would outnumber them, and why would they even need them? So that means these were AIs. These were artificially intelligent beings. It's pretty interesting. Now, the Black Knight satellite, which is a documentary I wrote, I really believe that that's related to Enlil. Enlil is the one that created it. In the tablets, he's known to have an all-seeing eye. And that all-seeing eye would have to be a satellite in space orbiting the planet in a polar orbit. Not orbiting this way, but orbiting this way. So as the planet spins on its axis and the satellite's orbiting head over heels, it has a chance to look at everything on the planet as it spins. And by that method, you can see everything that's going on the entire planet, literally in a day, in less than a day. You can see you can see everything going on in a few hours. And so that was his all-seeing eye. it's pretty interesting that also they had talked about in the Atrahasis epic, they were going to go to war because the workload was too heavy for the Ijiji, which were the worker level, working class Anunnaki people that were doing a lot of the mining and creating a lot of the canals and a lot of construction before humans even got involved, long before humans even got involved. They were going to go to war against the kings of Earth. That was where God was, Mars was called the god of war. This battle eventually did break out, but initially it was stopped. It was halted. But they had contemplated using these fashion people, and they realized not a good idea, because then why would they need us? Eventually they'll realize they don't even need us. So they decided to go with a biological slave. And they took the existing hominid on Earth, which was not Homo sapiens sapien, us, but one of our cousins, and they genetically modified that cousin to create the Adamu, which was the first man. And then from there, allowed us to replicate on our own through sex, right, through mating. Pretty interesting stuff. The Black Knight was left in orbit around this planet to monitor us, and it runs on AI. It course corrects. It changes its own direction. It thinks for itself, and it's transmitting information to Epsilon, which is a star in the Epsilon Boötis constellation. It's monitoring everything that we're doing down here. And the reason why they won't destroy it is because if they try to destroy that thing, it's going to call the cavalry. They're going to know, oh, humans are definitely a threat to space now. So they leave it alone. They don't mess with it. They just document it, and they're trying to communicate with this thing. You got to watch my documentary, Black Knight Satellite, The Untold Story. It's actually really now Black Knight Satellite Beyond the Signal. We kind of changed that tagline a little bit, because it really comes to being more than just the signal itself. It's deeper. It's a deeper message we found out later while wrapping up the movie, and we decided to change the tagline to Beyond the Signal. But anyway, you can watch it on 4bk.tv, and you can check it out. There's a free 3-day trial in there. It's a great, great documentary. A lot of people are giving it 5 stars. Let's see here. These questions are piling up fast. Man, hold on. Because I'm connected to YouTube, Twitter, 4 Facebook pages, and LinkedIn. That's why I'm getting so many questions. Yeah. Let's see here. Man, goodness, that's moving too fast. Hold on. Okay. Man, this. Okay, man, sorry. So many good comments here, positive comments, but the questions they move so fast across. Das Effects 09, can you talk about ancient healing techniques? So there's a lot of ancient healing techniques. One of the biggest ones that I really, I'm a big supporter of is colloidal silver and monoatomic gold. Not because I sell them on my website, but because the reason why I started selling them on my website, because I had taken them for so many decades. Now, the colloidal silver and monoatomic gold was actually brought to humans by Thoth, Thoth. Some people call him Jehudi. He's also known in the Americas as Quetzalcoatl or Pakal, Kukulkan, Viracocha. Many, many names. He's known to the Greeks as Mercury, Hermes, Odin. All right, so he's got many names. But he brought the information to the people about colloidal silver, how to actually make it by using a form of electrolysis on rods of silver dipped in water and creating this nanoparticle suspended silver that you can actually drink. Now, what does that do for you? You drink this colloidal silver, and it actually goes into the body, and it finds viruses and bacteria, and it literally makes them explode. It destroys them on contact. The original thing they used to do to you in the hospital before these Jabberwowskis came out, what they used to do was they used to give you colloidal silver. That's what they used to give you. Hospitals still carry it till this very day. I did a whole show on Forbidden Knowledge TV during the height of the whole scaredemic, right when it was at its worst point, when it was everybody was in a frenzy and afraid and everything else, and everything was closed down. I interviewed a critical care nurse. You can check out that episode. It's still up there. I didn't delete it. It's still up there. I asked her, I said, well, you guys are treating these sick people. What do you guys do to protect yourself? Are you wearing a hazmat suit? She says, no, we just take colloidal silver. Maybe that's why I never got that sickness. Never got it. Still haven't gotten it. And so it's pretty interesting that, I've been taking it all this time and I've never gotten that sickness. And she said that the nurses, the critical care nurses, use that to treat themselves. And so they can keep treating the patients. Pretty interesting. But in the ancient texts, they would mix colloidal silver and monoatomic gold. So they would take this powdered gold and mix it in water, which creates an aurum. They would add lemon and put it into the colloidal silver, mix it together, and create something called the elixir of life. According to the tablets, it was for the heroes of old to heal wounds, ailments, disease, cure organs, disease like liver and kidney. They also speed up the synapses in the brain, make you think faster, make you gold is an electric conductor. So imagine that circulating through the brain and giving you a higher ability to think at a higher speed. So making you sharper, more aware, and also, being bacteria and virus free. Pretty interesting stuff. Right now, a lot of people are using colloidal silver for different types of viruses that they have in their body right now. So it's pretty interesting. So that's one of the greatest ones, I believe. Another form of natural healing would be obviously THC and CBD. Those two things are really been proven to be amazing with helping with like cancer, PTSD, glaucoma, and many, many other illnesses, autoimmune problems. Pretty interesting. Seizures with THC. So those are other natural healing things that you can do. There's just so much stuff out there that you can do. The colloidal silver and monoatomic gold is on 4biddenknowledge.com. I saw somebody asking. You can go to 4biddenknowledge.com. The link is in the caption of this video. You can order it there on my store. But I only started selling it years after I was taking it. I had made a whole video about this because I've been taking it for so many years. And I'm thinking maybe that's why I'm one of the few people that haven't gotten this sickness yet. And I've been traveling around the world nonstop. As you know, I post pictures of everywhere I go. I'm everywhere, like white rice. And people are sneezing and hacking and coughing on me. And everybody I know has come down with this thing. My family members, my son, everyone, barber, everyone. And I've been in contact with every single person and nothing. I took a life insurance, I upped my life insurance policy to a higher limit. And because of that, they had to take a blood test and wanted to test me for to see if I had the antigens or whatever in my blood. At that time, I didn't have it. So I didn't have it at that time. In other words, no antigens means I had never had it up until that point when I took that test to up my life insurance policy a few more $1 million. So pretty interesting. I don't know. Could be something to it. But that's just a couple of them. There's so many of them. I could talk on that stuff for hours, but that's a good question. Kim Vieira, what about the moon? I had a dream it was left in orbit. Good question, Kim Vieira. So in ancient times, I made a song about this, which is on my brand new album called Black Knight. You got to check it out, okay? It's called Dawn of Man. Dawn of Man, D-A-W-N, Dawn of Man. It's on my Black Knight album that just came out a couple of days ago. Where I'm talking about this in the album. On that song, that specific song, I'm talking about it. But there was a planet named Tiamat. Now, Tiamat was a large planet, 4 to 6 times larger than Earth. Earth didn't exist yet. You had Mercury, Venus, and then you had Tiamat. Tiamat was a massive water-bearing planet with land and life. People lived there. And Mars was orbiting Tiamat. Mars wasn't a planet yet. It was a moon that was habitable, but it was orbiting Tiamat. And then our moon was orbiting Tiamat as well. Okay. Now, when in the beginning stages of our solar system, things were in chaos. And our solar system right now is still in the process of absorbing rogue planets from another place, something called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, which is merging with the Milky Way Galaxy right at the point where we exist. But gravitationally, we captured another little mini solar system that came through. It's a brown dwarf star with 6 planets orbiting it. One of those planets is called Nibiru, and that Nibiru also had moons. As it came through in this weird orbit, it came through our solar system, which interrupted Saturn's path and Uranus. It flipped, Neptune. It interrupted Saturn and Neptune. It flipped Uranus on its side. It also created a very slow wobble and a slow reverse motion on one of the planets in our solar system. I think Mercury takes 60 days, 60 Earth days to rotate one time on its axis now because of this. So we know that scientifically, through astrophysics, we can tell that something huge came through our solar system in ancient times and wreaked havoc on us. So that's just normal. Now, when this happened, the moons of Nibiru crashed into Tiamat and cracked it into pieces. So Tiamat became the asteroid belt. That's the asteroid belt that we have out there. So you have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and then you have the asteroid belt. But it wasn't like that. Originally, it was just Mercury, Venus, Tiamat, and the moons that orbited it. Now, what happened when this happened was a lot of the debris that blew up, it hit Mars. And then it shifted Mars. It gave Mars a shift of the crust. Mars tilted. That's why Mars's equator goes like this in an angle, 45-degree angle. We know this because we've measured it through technological satellites that have been sent there. We can measure the axis, and we know where the magnetic field exists and everything. And so one side of Mars is charred black, and the other side is smooth. The side where the debris hit is why it's charred black on one side. We know this now. Then it slung Mars into this weird elliptic orbit around the sun. That's why Mars has this very strange orbit. You can rewind it, and you can find out where it was millions of years ago. And then also a huge chunk of this Tiamat swung away, and with all the water, land, and life, recoalesced and became the Earth. That's where Earth came from. That's what separating the waters from the waters is in the Old Testament. And so it recoalesced, it cooled off, it regained an atmosphere, it had billions of tons of liquid water, of course, land, and became Earth. Now, when it shifted and rolled into place, locking into this gravitational Lagrange point that we're on right now, it's called the Lagrange point, we pulled in the moon with us. Lamu, in the ancient text, it's called Lamu. It gravitationally tugged it along. Now, much later in the Sumerian tablets, they talk about visiting the moon, and they converted the moon into a base. So the moon has been hollowed out, and it's actually a base. And what's interesting is if you take the USGS.gov radar imaging of the moon and look at it without editing it, without playing with it, without opening up in Photoshop, you'll clearly see that because the radar is penetrating, it penetrates below the moon's surface. You'll see steel beams on the moon, steel beams beneath the surface. So the moon definitely has been turned into an artificial structure. And the reason why it's in a geostationary lock and this rotationary lock with Earth, where you can only see one side at a time, because on the side that we can never see, they had moon bases on that side, and they're still there. The Clementine mission, which was sent to a low lunar orbit a few decades ago, crashed into a structure on the far side of the moon and never came back. But it sent back a whole lot of images, which are available because of Freedom of Information Act, which I downloaded a lot of them, and I've posted them on my anomaly hunting pages. They've been on TV, they've been on documentaries, they've been on lectures and workshops that I've been in. There's a lot of amazing stuff on that other side. So it's pretty interesting, that you asked about the moon. The moon is a gigantic structure that's been turned into a gigantic base. And without the moon, where it's at in a specific Lagrange point and orbiting the planet Earth, Earth's seasons and weather would be completely in turmoil and unpredictable. Matter of fact, I don't think we'd even be able to sustain life on this planet if we didn't have the moon. So it's put there for a reason and a purpose, to stabilize our oceans, to stabilize our weather patterns, and stabilize the wobble so that we don't have such a mishmash of different types of seasons all over the place. We can actually have consistency on the planet. So it's pretty interesting. Good question. Chao Rocha says, question, is our universe an AI hologram or a simulation made from someone outside the real universe or realm? Good question. I believe that's accurate. So I believe that we're living in a holographic light matrix that runs on not only AI, but it runs on something called the Mandelbrot set fractals. So Mandelbrot, Benoit Mandelbrot is a famous mathematician that didn't create, but he actually discovered that fractals exist, and he discovered the mathematical phrase to establish it. Okay, and Pixar took his mathematical discovery and injected it into animation, and were able to make animated videos without having to do a lot of programming. The scenes that you see in the Pixar movies, they create themselves. Okay, look, check it out, research it. I've done whole lectures about this. The scenes that are created in the Pixar movies are created on the fly. The programming code, the mathematical code, the Mandelbrot set of fractals creates everything in those cartoons or those animated shows. They're really a level above animation. They're a whole nother thing. So we found that fractals exist in our realm, all around us. Everything in this entire universe is made from fractals. And it's a fractal holographic light matrix, because we understand now that everything is light, including everything that you think is solid is light. Things that appear to be solid is an illusion. They're just light waves slowed down. So your computer, your tablet, wherever you're watching me on your TV, this microphone I'm speaking into, this chair I'm sitting on, all this stuff is nothing but slowed down waves, right? Energy waves, which are waves of light. And so we collapse these waves into reality. So when you're not at home and you don't see your house exists as a wave of potential. It doesn't even exist as a real house. It exists as a coded wave with a specific frequency, so that every time somebody looks that way, it collapses back into a structure that we can all recognize as a house. But when you don't see it, it's existing as a wave of probabilities. We live in something called a probabilistic universe where we have wave-particle duality in quantum physics. We know now, it's been verified, that everything exists as waves of light until a conscious observer collapses it into a structure, slows down the light waves enough for it to appear to be digital. And so it's a complicated concept to wrap your mind around. And it doesn't mean that we're not real. It just means that the methodology, the method used to create this universe, somebody on the outside used a specific programming code to call it, we call it the Mandelbrot set, because Mandelbrot rediscovered it. But they used fractal code along with wave of potential, light waves with potential, multi-potential, to create a light matrix, which we are all inhabiting right now. Even your body is made of light. Human beings exist both as a wave of light and solid matter. Because we now have taken the very first picture. If you look at physics.org, we took the very first picture a couple of years ago of a wave turning into a particle. So we caught it right as a wave was converting itself into a particle of solid matter. So we know now that everything exists as a wave, and particles collapsing into matter is just because consciousness is a wave function collapser. Pretty good question. Thank you. Let's see. Oof. It's already 9:20. Wow, I went over already. Oops. I just got a good question. Damn. And it's fast. Healing with Harley. So we can change the codes, right? Yes. Good question. We're living in a programmed matrix, and each one of our avatar bodies is programmed in several ways. We're programmed because of our epigenetics. Epigenetics show that the coding in your genetics extends 15 to 20 generations before you were even here. So we're all walking around with 15 to 20 generations of our ancestors' memories in our bodies. Now, what's interesting about that, it's not the good memories mostly, unfortunately. Epigenetics shows that a lot of the time, the reason why these genes and these memories are passed through epigenetics is because of trauma, unfortunately. So ancestral trauma is passed down from generation to generation. That's why you could be sitting in a nice house with food to eat and clothes on your back and a nice family and beautiful kids, and you can feel depressed. And you'd be like, why am I depressed? I don't understand. It might not be you that's depressed. It's probably your epigenetics. And you just don't know that you have ancestral memories in your body calling out, crying out, causing you to actually feel depressed. To reprogram this, I did a whole class on this on Forbidden Knowledge TV. I did a 6-hour class. Go to 4bk.tv and make sure you sign up and watch all of my workshops. I did a huge workshop on epigenetics and how to reprogram yourself. It's a big process. But I'll start with some of the simple things you could do. This is just a simple. You can write down positive affirmations and you can speak them out loud 3 times a day to yourself. Out loud, vocally, creating cymatic frequencies from your vocal cords, speaking to yourself 3 times a day. And after 21 days, scientists have seen that it will begin to rewrite your own DNA. You can rewrite your own DNA by speaking positive affirmations to yourself. That's just one small way of doing it. But I have this whole huge class on Forbidden Knowledge TV, which shows you how you can reprogram yourself from top to bottom, inside and out, and become a totally different person and override all the negative and old programming code and rewrite going into the future all the code that you want to write and install into your own avatar body. So check it out on Forbidden Knowledge TV. Go to workshops and you'll find it right there. Great question. I don't believe there's any land beyond the ice walls. Sorry, I don't believe in that. I've got friends that have been to Antarctica. I'm actually going to, Brad Olson's actually going to do a show very soon. He actually has a video. He went to Antarctica on an expedition. We're going to turn it into a TV show on Forbidden Knowledge TV. The whole Antarctica expedition. There's nothing out there but terrain and polar bears and animals, and there's no wall. Wall doesn't exist. Is our solar system becoming part of Wake Up TV, who I love. Hey, Wake Up TV, you share a lot of my information, man. I appreciate you. You share a lot of my information on Facebook. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Is our solar system becoming part of a fallen system? Is our solar system in a quarantine? If so, how, when, why? So our solar system is undergoing some big changes right now. A couple reasons why. So scientists now, it's all the astrophysics books in colleges have been rewritten because we discovered something. We discovered that the Milky Way galaxy is actually cannibalizing or eating up, swallowing another galaxy. That galaxy is called the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy, not the Sagittarius constellation, the Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy. It's actually being absorbed by the Milky Way galaxy. Now, what's interesting about this is at the point where the Sagittarius is being absorbed by the Milky Way, the exact point where this happens is exactly where our solar system is at. And now they realize when they backtrack, when they computer simulate, rewind this, they realize that our solar system isn't from the Milky Way. So the story even gets bigger. I did a whole workshop about this and class about this on Forbidden Knowledge TV. You got to go sign up for Forbidden Knowledge TV, guys. I'm telling you. I think it was like 5 hours long. The Sagittarius Dwarf Galaxy used to house our solar system. It was dropped into place here. So our entire solar system is alien to the Milky Way. So if you want to know who the aliens are, we're all the aliens. We don't even belong in this galaxy. When you look up at the night sky and you see that swath of it with no light pollution, you see that swath of stars going across the sky, everybody was thinking, oh, this is the Milky Way. Everybody, even scientists were believing that. Guess what happened? They all came to a reality check and go, oh man, we were wrong. Now they've rewritten all the books because they realize that swath of stars that you see going across the sky, it's not the Milky Way. It's Sagittarius being swallowed by the Milky Way. All the books are being rewritten. This is really important because it's directly talking about the effect that it's having on us, on this planet, energetically, the cosmic particles that are streaming towards us. Then we're also we're at the galactic equator of the Milky Way, which means we have cosmic particles and cosmic energy streaming out from the supermassive black hole at the center, coming across the plane, hitting us on this solar system. And all these particles, or energetic particles, are actually affecting and rewiring and rewriting our DNA, which is why also another reason why you see so many people waking up right now. Their DNA and programming codes are being lit up. So what's happening is, it's not that we're a fallen solar system, but we fell into place here where we are located. We actually fell into this exact position that we're in right now, in this arm of the Milky Way galaxy. We weren't here originally. Excuse me. None of this was here. It was all gone. It didn't exist here. We were part of something else. In a few more, and I think it's 5 billion years, we're going to collide with Andromeda. And Andromeda is going to merge with the Milky Way. And we're going to have all these planets collisions and star collisions and everything else, black holes merging. And it's going to create a new galaxy called Milkomeda in 5 billion years. Okay, so pretty interesting. So this is a normal phenomenon that happens. But what's happening with this is, if you got to look at things a little more positive, we are in a position right now where it seems like a lot of things are going wrong. But in actuality, what's happening is a lot of people are just waking up. You may not think, oh man, what are you talking about? My friend around the corner, they ain't awake yet. You got to look at the bigger picture. There's a lot of people on this planet. And a lot of people are starting to ask more questions now. A lot of people are starting to walk away from religious systems. A lot of people are starting to walk away from political systems in big numbers. It's like a snowball going down the hill. And so what's happening is, eventually, this quarantine that we are under because of our warlike nature that we have on this planet is going to be lifted, and we'll be allowed to travel the stars and meet other people and things like that. Right now, we're not allowed to because we're dangerous. A lot of people keep thinking that the aliens are going to be dangerous and they're going to come and kill us, and we're worrying about things out there. We need to be worrying about ourselves. We're killing ourselves better and faster than any other thing out there can even do. We're our own worst enemy. And so in this matrix, we are the prisoners and we're the prison guards. So we put ourselves on quarantine until we all wake up and realize what's going on and begin to love one another, begin to share unconditional love for one another, regardless of race, regardless of creed or location on the planet, invisible borderlines and all this crazy crap. When we wipe all that away and find our true identities, that we are a race of beings that have capabilities of greatness and have the highly technological knowledge and wisdom to cure and heal ourselves, and also then begin to travel the stars, that's when we'll meet our star brothers. And not a moment sooner. All right. Guys, I got one more question and I got to run. My voice is getting dry. I've been talking all day. I've been talking for like 9 hours. Whew. Let's see. One more and I'm out of here. But thank you so much for hopping on tonight, guys. Oh, man, where'd that go? I just saw a question. When it comes to UFO sightings, why come you don't see too many black people who see UFOs? Von Dawson. That's actually a good question, Von Dawson. A lot of black people see UFOs all the time. But we've been taught to be scared and taught not to talk about it because of religion. The majority of black people are still caught up in religion, which was given to us by our slave masters generations ago. And those generations ago, epigenetic memories are still in our body. So people are born every generation moving forward, automatically given this religious ideology, this dogma. And they're taught that looking at other things, studying other things, or seeing other things is all demonic and it's all about Satan. So it's all dogma and falsehoods. So what's happening is a lot more black people are really beginning to wake up to the reality of religion is a scam. It's a hoax. That the true God is them walking on the earth. We're all God walking the earth. We're just all a different aspect of God, every single one of us. A blade of grass is God. A rock is God. And so we're starting to finally realize this and wake up. And there's actually a whole movement. Now, incredibly, the whole Islam movement, they've been talking about black people and UFOs and black aliens and stuff like that for decades. Farrakhan talked about this decades ago. They've been talking about this it's not even a mystery to them. They teach it. They've known all about it for a very, very long time. But the majority of the planet is black, that are black are Christians. because of being beaten and raped into them. And so they've been forced into it through generational trauma and dogma. And so they, we've got to break out of it. And it's beginning to happen. There's actually a brand new UFO show coming on Forbidden Knowledge TV, and it's Roderick Martin. He's a black ufologist who's on my TV network. His show comes out in a couple of months. It's already been recorded. It's in post-editing now. It's called What's the Big Secret? And it's all about UFOs and UAPs. And he's investigating cases. He's a MUFON head of Dallas. And so he's like a professional ufologist. And he's doing all these cases, and he's opening cases, and he's researching these cases. And we're trying to come to what is the big secret here. So, and he's exposing things. So he's one. And he's actually working on another big show, that has something to do with minorities, talking about, why we cover up and hide from the fact that we've seen UFOs and we've had encounters and we've seen paranormal activity and everything else. It's just frowned upon in the black community, and you're made to feel very strange, weird, and you could be ostracized even from the community for it. But now things are changing. Thank goodness. Slowly but surely, things are definitely changing. All right. Okay, this is the last one. What about wormholes and black holes? Wormholes and black holes are kind of almost the same thing. However, a wormhole is what we call an Einstein-Rosen bridge, because Einstein and Rosen discovered this back in the 1950s, I believe it was, the possibility of creating bridges in space through stable holes. And so these are wormholes. We know that there's something around the Earth called X points, where these portals open and close every single day naturally. There are natural portals that open up around Earth. This is peer-reviewed, real science, taught in college and university. All right, you can go to MIT and learn this. You can go to, Boston University, any university you want to go to. If you're going to study astrophysics, you're going to learn about X points. These portals open and close naturally every single day. In order for us to access one of these, we need to know when they're going to open, how long, and see if we can have technology that can make them stable and open them and hold it open so that we can pass through. We'd also need to know where it's going to lead us, okay? A black hole, usually a lot of the times, is from a collapsed star, a supermassive star that has collapsed in on itself and creates a black hole. And the black hole is interesting because it has an event horizon. And at the event horizon, time actually slows down. But a black hole even eats light. Now, it was once thought that black holes, two things about them. It was once thought that they were eternal. We now know that they're not eternal, that black holes give off radiation. It's called Hawking's radiation because Stephen Hawking discovered the Hawking's radiation coming out of the black holes. And we now know that over billions of years, black holes actually radiate away to disappear to nothing. Also, when something goes into a black hole, we used to think that it didn't exist anymore. We now know that because of the nature of, because of the nature of the universe, the second law of thermodynamics, we know now that no information can be lost. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And so because of that, we now know that when you enter into a black hole, you may be pulled apart, but the data about you or whatever went in is stored on the horizon. So the data points of your existence or the existence of whatever fell in still exists. The information is still there. It didn't disappear. Also, the third thing and the last thing I'll say is that we now hypothesize that on the other end of a black hole is a white hole into another universe. So the black hole is absorbing and sucking energy out of one place and sending it into a whole other universe and building a brand new universe concurrently at the same time. So it's a big thing. It's a huge thing to wrap your head around, but it's a pretty interesting topic to talk about. All right, guys, I appreciate your time so much. Thank you so much tonight. I appreciate your time. Look, don't forget, I'm going to type this in the chat right now. Don't forget to go watch the Black Knight satellite documentary. Okay, it's streaming right now on Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm dropping a link in the chat for you guys to check it out. HTTP 4bk.tv. Boom, that's all you need. 4bk.tv. Check it out. The Black Knight satellite Beyond the Signal documentary streaming right now on Forbidden Knowledge TV. It's our #1 watch show, and it's only been a couple days. It's doing phenomenal. The reviews are on the video. You can read the reviews underneath the video. They're great. And everyone has had so many nice things to say, so I really appreciate that. Make sure you watch it and also share it with somebody. Please let somebody else watch it as well. There was a lady at the premiere, at the movie premiere in Michigan, and she had her mother there. And she stood up at the end and she said, I want to thank you so much, Billy, because for 20 years, my mother thought I was crazy. And now because of this documentary, she believes me. That was huge. She was emotional. She made me emotional. That was pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful stuff. So, yeah, just check it out. It's a pretty amazing documentary. You're going to love it. And please share it with as many people as you possibly can. All right. Last announcement I got to make before I go. I got some great news. July 29th, 2023. Put that on your calendar. July 29th, 2023 in Florida. We're having the first ever in history, the first ever Forbidden Conscious Awards. The you've heard of the Oscars, you've heard of the Grammys. Well, now we got one for the conscious community. That's right. I'm hosting it. I'm creating it because we need it and we deserve it. So I'm creating the Forbidden Conscious Awards. And guess who's going to pick the winners? You guys. You're going to vote. You're going to help pick the nominees. We're going to have this whole process to pick the nominees by voting. We're going to have text message voting. And for people out of the United States, you'll be able to vote by a web form for foreigners. And so it's global voting, okay, to pick the nominees. And when we have the actual award ceremony, it's going to be in person at this huge convention center right here in Florida. You'll be able to attend. There's only, I think, going to be 1,000 seats. So if you out of the world, that's only a small number. So if you're lucky enough to be in the room, that's great. If you're not, you can still vote globally during the show live, during the event live. Once we get the nominees in each category, there'll be many categories. The nominees will be flown in. They'll be given hotel accommodations. They'll be there, all right? And then you will pick the winners of those categories by text and by web vote. And we will have that in real time, and it'll be streamed live on Forbidden Knowledge TV exclusively, all right? The first ever Forbidden Conscious Awards. And we're going to have one Lifetime Achievement Award that we're going to give away to somebody who really deserves it, who's put in decades and decades of service and is on their way out. So we don't have that person yet, but we have a few ideas who that person might be. So I'll keep you informed. We're waiting on the web page for it is going to be up in the next couple of days. And we're going to start the campaign and have you guys start helping us. And from now, start picking out the nominees and voting for nominees so that in a few months we can say, okay, these are going to be some of the nominees. And out of all of these, we're going to pick 3 for each category or 4 for each category. And you guys are going to help us pick the winners. All right. It's going to be amazing. And wait till you see these trophies they're going to get. They're going to be fire. They're going to be made of crystal. It's going to be amazing, guys. And we deserve it because guess what? We've been helping push humanity in the right direction for a long time. We've gone through the trials and tribulations, all the hate, all the trolling, all the negative statements, again, going against the government, going against everything, all right? Going against the masses. And now it's time for us to sit back and realize, hey, and for us to thank some of these people, some of these soldiers out here on these streets. And we're going to thank some of these people in the best way. And we're going to let them come to a black tie gala. And we're going to put them up in a nice hotel. We're going to let them walk across a nice stage and give an acceptance speech and everything. And we're going to make these people feel phenomenal, make them feel great about themselves for all the hard work they've been putting out. Because nobody, people say thank you on chats and comments, but to get a real appreciation, a physical appreciation, it means a lot and it goes a long way. So that's what we're going to do, guys. And it's coming. You're going to see everything I tell you I'm going to do. You already know I do it. So you already know what's happening. We're going to be putting out the information in the next couple of days as to the venue and everything else has already been selected. So we'll have the event right up in a couple of days and you guys will be able to start. We're going to have the whole voting system in place and we'll be talking about it consistently so we can keep getting the votes coming in so we can know who to pick as nominees. It's going to be a big process, but I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to this. Really looking forward to this. It's going to be amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I'm hoping that some of you who are on this now can have an opportunity to be here live at the actual live event. We're going to have a red carpet. And you know how we do the red carpet. You saw the red carpet the other night. It was fire. We're doing a whole nother red carpet event, the whole works. Cameraman, interviews, the whole thing. It's going to be first class, A+, 10-star, 10-star. All right. Looking forward to that. So, and it's going to be right here in sunny South Florida, where I love it. So it's going to be phenomenal. All right. Not going to get Chris Rock. I'm not going to get Dave Chappelle, even though I love those guys. I'll be the keynote speaker, and Jimmy Church will be the host of the event. We'll have a comedian. I have a great comedian that we have coming in. I have a magician, and we have music artists that will perform. So it's going to be entertainment as well. It won't just be people getting awards. It's going to be a whole show, a whole big thing, a whole big to-do. It's going to be amazing. All right. Anyway, guys, look, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope I couldn't get to all the questions. That's impossible, but hopefully the ones I did answer, you got something out of that. All right. I love y'all, guys. Don't forget, go check out 4bk.tv and watch the Black Knight Satellite documentary. All right. Peace.